Hello and welcome to Auto Arcadia. I am and with me, as always, is my other.
Colin Wood, how you doing, dude?
Yeah, I'm good. I am very, very good. Had a bit of a week off. Much and it was quite an intense time at work this week. It's been nice to not think for a bit. What about yourself?
Fair man. Yeah, I've had a fucking week. Ups and downs, but I'm now sitting here with a nice, lovely, freshly opened bottle of Birra Moretti, and I'm ready to shoot some shit about the automotive culture and world.
I mean, perfect. What more can you ask for? By shooting the shit, do you have anything on your mind to shoot?
I do, man, right? So I was sitting at work today, like quite intently, not intently, but like keeping an eye on like the election,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a bit childish to pretend that they don't affect you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it kind of got me thinking about something that we've spoken about previously, which is, well, actually, this wasn't the first thought it came to. My first thought was, I wonder what reform voters drive. Um, and that was like, I landed on like a clapped out X5 with blacked out windows, or like an Audi A3 diesel that's like got the blue polarized tints that people, or the orange polarized tints people are putting on their windscreens now.
I know the ones.
Yeah, I thought something like that, and then I went on to a slightly less judgmental topic in my little mind, and I was like, I wonder how many times like politics has actually like influenced car culture. Like what do we have today, like in the automotive landscape, that is like seen as just that's how it is. Like it's like, oh well, it's just that's just the JDM price boom, for example. And I was like, I bet that's like down to politics. Like when you really distill it down to like root cause, I bet there's quite a lot of examples of stuff like that that's actually purely, well, no, maybe not purely, but has like a good over 60% of its influence is owed to a political decision somewhere.
Yeah. I think I imagine quite a lot.
Well, I did have a little look at it, and like I did some googling and a little bit of research at work, and there's quite a lot, but it's a lot to just jump into. So, do you have any like shit shooty chat first? That sounds so derogatory. Some casual chat first.
You mean nonsense?
Yeah, it can't be nonsense, I suppose.
I have some nonsense.
It's
Actually, I've
very
just got some small bits or thought about. One of the things I did think about recently is I was driving my car. I parked in the shop and got out to fill up the window washer stuff.
Oh yeah, the washer fluid. Yeah.
Simple enough, but it involved me going into the boot, which I don't really go into the boot of the car very. Tends to be filled with crap and borderline unusable, so I just tend to avoid it. But it's where the washer fluid lived, or the window squishy spray, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, Scoosher spray sounds much, much more like the correct name. Scooshy Wata.
What's going on?
There was a so fuck. Sorry for detracting from your story. Right, I'm currently I'm in the garage, which is where I do our recording, right, and
Is
I'm
that
on
on
my
your end,
workbench. Yeah, I'm on my workbench, and there's like, because I've not yet sorted the garage out properly, I'm getting there, but it's not right. There's fucking tools everywhere, and I pushed the laptop back a little bit from the edge of the worktop, and basically a mountain of drill bits just collapsed behind it. But it collapsed like into a fucking mountain of microfiber dusters, so it was very muffled, and it was just like yeah. So I've just like unfucked that little situation and returned.
No, 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 no. What was the motor running?
What motor
Oh
running?
my god, I'm sorry. It's on me. I'm on the web page for a 940 DL, and I didn't
I
notice that.
I was
Scroll
like,
down
how
to the
the fuck did
video.
I was just thinking, like, how the fuck did you hear like six drill bits falling into an open top drawer full of fucking microfiber dusters? How good is my mic? And then I got really worried that all the background shit is gonna pick up from the cats and shit.
Can you hear this? Right?
No, I can't hear anything there. It's totally silent.
You can't hear that.
No.
So it's gonna make me sound in the recording. But yeah, there was just a motor being started, and it was an autoplay video on one of these sites,
Ah, like the adverts.
like
Yeah.
the advert. Yeah, sorry, I just had it in the background to think about it like that.
It's okay, man. Don't worry about it.
It just really freaked me the fuck out.
Sorry, do continue.
Right, yes. What was I saying? Oh, I know. Like I started to go in the boot of the car, and then that obviously meant that when I got around to the back, I saw quite much bird shit. The car was kicked in.
Really?
Yeah, it was real bad. It was like really, really bad. But then I also had the thought of like, do you know what? I want a deterrent for not parking because I parked right at the front, so like really the shop, really park. But I was only there was two spaces right beside, and I parked them the whole time I was.
Really?
No one got any near. Like I was like, I wonder if that's a good way of getting people to like fuck off from like like walking to like brushing up against the side of your car or like parking too close. Is just have the thing covered in shit or mud all of the time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like when you see a filthy car, the automatic assumption is they clearly don't look after their car. You know, like I do this. Like I've parked up next to like a car that's like not caked in shit, but you can tell it's not been washed for like maybe 6 months. And I'm like, no, we got to find a different space. Like, I'm not parking next to that.
Yeah, when you were like, you're like, I don't want to even accidentally brush up against that car because it's so disgusting.
Oh no no no! I don't mind getting covered in shit. I get covered in shit for a living,
I
man.
mean, to be fair,
Like
that is actually your job, yeah.
yeah, like I mean, but like my view is if they come out to their car, they are abso-fucking-lutely not going to care about just swinging the doors open and dinging fuck out of mine. You know, that's my view.
Yeah, I kind of get you, yeah. But basically, that was just one of my views. If like, if leaving your car as disgusting as possible does stay away from it.
Yeah. Do you know what? I will monitor this and report back because the Merc is truly rancid at the minute. I've given up. Like, I just fucking hate the thing. And yeah, like, I've not washed it in months and it has done a big mileage. Like, it has some fucking road grime on it. So I will monitor this and report back.
Yeah, keep an eye. I guess that's so bad when you completely fall out of love with a car that you've still got to run.
Yeah.
Hate
It's
resenting them.
Do you know, I started it up the other morning, right? And it was a bit noisier than it usually is. I was like, huh, must be low oil. I just put it in drive and drove off. I was
Yeah.
like,
Anyway, I'm sure it'll be relevant some other time.
yeah, I'm sure that'll come back to bite me in the arse, but yeah,
So yeah, no love lost with the Merc.
no, the Merc and me are not enjoying life together.
They are. Well, you give it a go, and it was not for you.
Yeah. I should just have bought like a cheap Toyota Avensis estate and been happy. And
Yeah.
been like, this is an 800 quid car that I can drive into the ground. And it would never drive into the ground. It would run until the body rotted away in nothing, but the mechanicals just wouldn't stop.
Hi.
Which is the opposite problem I have with the Merc. But yeah, so it is what it is. Just shit.
Get it in the bin. Is what
Bin
it
it.
is. Get it in the
Bin
bin.
it. Bin it. Yeah, man.
Totally fair. Yeah. You said some. Yeah. Okay. You know, on the whole, like, should have got a Toyota Avensis.
Yeah,
Did you hear that they're going to start making Corolla GR in the UK?
I did. I also heard that they're not going to sell it in the UK, however.
How can they build it in the UK but not sell it in the UK? That seems wild.
Yeah, well, they'll just build left-hand drives and be
Like
like, this is not for you, get the fuck.
that makes me come on. Like just a few of them could fall out the factory door.
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, on the subject of Toyota, 2 seconds though, because I need to check my phone to check this because I get quite a lot of my car news by scrolling when I'm at work because I'm really hard at work. Yes, there it is. So Subaru debuting in Japan for the 2026 All Japan Rally Championship JN1 class. They have put a turbo in the BRZ, which is Subaru's like GT86
They still
clone.
make the BRZ, or
Yeah, man.
does Subaru make an equivalent of the R86?
Sorry, aye. So the GT86 was the first gen, and then it
Yeah.
went to the GR. So they'll have their own equivalent of it. So like they have the 2.4 liter one, like the GR's Toyota one. But it gets quite interesting. So they've delivered on their promise. Like Subaru heard turbo the BRZ, and now they've delivered on it. So like it's the Boxer Rally Spec Z is what it's called, and it's an all-wheel drive BRZ. So it's basically they've basically thrown an entire Subaru Impreza drivetrain at this and been like, smash it in. But it's got like STI bodywork, so massive front bumper, hood vents, wide body kit, and massive rear wing. And it's making 280 brake horsepower with 369 foot-pounds of torque and drives all four wheels through a 6-speed sequential gearbox, which is not available on the street models. KYB suspension and endless brakes. handle the grunt. Subaru and STI co-tuned in-house, refined the suspension geometry and chassis for a lighter weight in the WRX S4 and a lower centre of gravity. So we could be seeing like a really, really cool coupe returning to rally.
Yeah, it does. It does scream rally, that doesn't
Yeah,
it?
well, that's what they're doing. Like it's debuting at the at a Japanese rally stage.
Ah, okay.
So it's debuting in All Japan Rally Championship JN1 class.
Of course, yeah. I forgot that you did say that. Yeah. Do you know what's really interesting? I don't think the BRZ changed anything other than the BRZ. So I think
Yeah, it
the
hasn't.
GT8, the GR86 is also a BRZ.
Yes, it is. Like they're both the same. It's just badge engineered. If you type BRZ rally car into Google, the top one is Road and Track magazine, which is actually a pretty serious magazine. So this is like legitimately reliable information, and it has all the information in there, and it's so fucking cool. Like just this thing looks like it wants to fucking become a demented axe murderer. When you see the photos, you'll just be like, "Holy shit, man!"
But anyway, right, I'm going to start again. I say yes. So I was reading an article on Evo. I can't remember what it was. It might have been Richard Porter's one. It might not. But it was essentially about the new Mark 8 Golf that's coming out. And they've really heavily lent into being track focused, like all about that during lap time. And
Yeah,
they've set the fastest front wheel drive production car record. That's 7 minutes 44 something. I'm not 100% sure. But in the article, they mentioned that that is the same time as a Zonda from 2002. I was just looking at what
right.
Zonda it was. It was the C12. The C12S managed it in 7 minutes 44. So in the space of 24 years, a Golf is setting as fast a lap time. A front wheel drive Golf is setting as fast a lap time around the Nürburgring as a Pagani Zonda, a mid-engine kind of supercar from
I mean,
2002.
I
I don't
don't
think
know,
that's
man.
kind of
I think a
insane.
Zonda's even a hypercar, you know?
Maybe, but do you not think that's kind of insane? Because we
That
talked about the
is,
Zonda. The Zonda, the C12S is fairly early in the Zonda lifespan, but it had like, it's a
yeah.
500 horsepower car.
Yeah, that's insane. And it's just 4 seconds behind the RS3. I've just pulled up the Evo article now to have a look. So I was like, that can't be fucking right. It fills me with hatred that it's a Volkswagen that done it.
I mean, yeah. Actually, right. So the C12S was 540 horsepower, and
And
then
what's
your
this
Golf,
thing?
which is 320, is some serious, and it's front wheel drive as well. That must be some serious like track focus, like suspension geometry, and like chassis package setup for that. Because
Yeah, man.
I imagine that Pagani was good, but maybe a little bit kind of like
Bit wayward.
a bit wayward. Yeah, absolutely. Wayward's a nice way of putting it.
Do you know as well, like it see the thing is though, right? People are gonna buy this thinking it's an absolute wild machine. See that on a car, it'll be on a car. See that on the road, it'll be shit.
Yeah, I think that might be quite firm.
Yeah. Firm I think might be undercutting how firm it'll be.
I just think it's very, very impressive that we are talking about mid-engine per car time, four-door, front-wheel
Hatch.
drive hot hatchet with, a four-pot and a turbocharger.
Yeah,
The Pagani Zonda was a V12.
it was. And a absolute sonorous, glorious V12 at that.
7-litre V12 too. Over triple the displacement. Over triple the cylinders. To be fair, not triple the power.
No,
But
no.
yeah, do you not think that's absolutely crazy? In fact,
I
actually, one of the guys I know has got himself a like sporty Ford, an ST, one of the newer
yeah.
ones with like a track package and stuff like that. So it's like a 2 point turbocharged 2.3 EcoBoost. The same one they chuck in like the the Mustang if you want to buy a Mustang with a 4-cylinder,
Yes,
and
I
all of that
do.
stuff. But like, do you know what? I tell you what, right? That motor sounds AF. Like the exhaust note to that is good. It sounds great. It's got classic Ford yob.
Really?
Yeah, it sounds really asbo. I like it.
Fair, man. Yeah. It's pretty cool, you know. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say they're for me because they're not.
That's the
I'm
thing.
a,
I wish I liked hot hats more than I do, but I'm not that interested in the hatchback.
no. Do you know, I've just noticed something on this Golf Edition 50 that's enraged me as well. They've
What,
not
is it the
even,
VW badge?
apart from that, there's a photo here that focuses on the wheels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And behind the wheel, obviously, you can see the brake. And they're like, oh, it's this, it's that, it's this. They've not even given it floating calipers. Like it's got fucking, I would assume double piston sliding calipers, which is an absolute fucking bullshit thing to put on a track focused car.
I'm really confused by all of that, I'm afraid. I mean, to me, that just looks like a fairly standard, painted caliper.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm getting at. Like your car, because it's got the M Sport brakes on it, has floating calipers, and where the caliper doesn't move, the caliper is bolted there and it floats above the disc, and it has pistons on both sides that promotes really equal track pull, really equal pad action. It's more rigid, so you get better pedal feel, and generally, it's just a much better engine. It's a superior engineering solution to a brake caliper.
What's the difference between that, the brake caliper? Because I thought they were pretty much just fixed on the disc. Pads that, close together, basically.
So there's like a carrier that's bolted to the hub which floats, and then the caliper on a Volkswagen especially usually goes in with like two 6mm pins, and it slides back and forth on the pin, and it's only got pistons on one side, so it like squeezes the pad in, and then once the inside pad has made contact, it then pulls the outside pad towards the disc. So you get worse pedal feel, you get worse rigidity, and you get uneven brake wear, which is all bad. You don't want any of that shit. But yeah, the fact that it's like this is our super duper track edition and it doesn't even have fucking proper brakes is a bit pish.
Oh, I'm so confused, man. Like, you're gonna have to send me an idiot's cross section of what I should be looking at here. Because, like, I genuinely thought all calipers were basically much of a muchness.
No.
I thought that they were just like like multiple, like pots, whatever you want to call them. And then they just push the caliper, both, calipers make both pads to make contact with the disc.
No. Not
Oh
at
no,
all,
I'm gonna
young
have to do some learning
Skywalker.
here. Friday night,
Yar.
man.
I'm gonna force you to learn, god damn
No.
it. So this is from Brembo, which admittedly I'm not a massive fan of Brembo. I don't think their products are all that in a bag of chips. I think there's far better companies out there. Alcon, for example. But there you go. The differences between fixed and floating calipers.
Interesting. She sent that on the old.
Yeah, so I mixed my terminology up. Floating calipers are the ones that they have, fixed calipers are the ones that you want.
Right. So floating calipers. Oh no, I get you right. So floating calipers are one caliper pushes the disc into a fixed point.
Yeah.
Right. I get you. No, I totally get you. So like bike disc brakes are quite often floating.
No. Like my motorbike is fixed calipers, and my mountain bike is actually fixed calipers as well. My
Ah,
mountain bike has better brakes than that Golf.
fancy mountain bike. Yeah, no, my bike never had fucking anything fancy like that. Yeah, I do you know what? I totally get you, and I understand why fixed calipers are probably a lot better for kind of.
There's actually, I'm just reading through this, there's actually a really good little synopsis. In other words, we can say that floating calipers are less expensive and have a smaller footprint. They are robust and can be actuated by different systems. On the contrary, fixed brake calipers are lighter, wear more evenly, have less residual torque, and are more design orientated. In other words, they're a superior fucking solution.
Fair. No, I'm gonna try and stick that in the. You know what? I have a bigger problem with. If you scroll down to
What?
the second last picture of the pedals, first of all, they're tack. Like that is a really tacky color combination of the red kind of like effect, you want to
That
call it.
is tacky as fuck.
But second of all, we're getting to what I think is for me one of the things that gives me like car it. You know what I mean? You know
Yeah.
the car it, and that's when I look at automatic and I see that comically massive brake. You know that brake pedal that's three
Yeah,
pedals
I
wide
know.
and just says, I am scared, man. I am scared. Like, I look at it and I think, that fucker's like, I'm an adult. I actually don't the brake pedal to the size of an emergency stop button, like a bit of plant.
Yeah.
It always puts me off. Like, it's one of the things I love about when the third pedal is it brings that brake pedal right in. I mean, it's still the biggest fucking pedal by miles, but it's not the size. It's not like child friendly, brake pedal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of bad when you've got your performance car and people look down at the pedal box and see, like, you know, that the little accelerator and then the big massive brake that says, I can't be trusted.
That's quite funny. I've got a funny story about this.
Oh,
So this big brake pedal that all automatics have, by the way. I've never driven an automatic that doesn't have a massive brake pedal.
be one or two out there that actually do it properly, but yeah, just every one of them.
So the fun fact about this is, see when you are rolling a cigarette and not really paying attention driving up the motorway, and you lose loads of speed, and you're like, "Fuck, I need to speed up with traffic," and then you instinctually go to downshift. That big brake pedal is big enough that you hit it thinking it's a clutch and inadvertently do a left brake and emergency stop on the motorway. Yeah, I nearly broke my nose on the fucking steering wheel that day.
Yeah, I'm not
Like
surprised.
I was not braced for it. I was not expecting it. I was like just trundling along at 60, 65. I went to downshift. Bang! And I fucking near enough folded tarmac up, man. Like the
That
fucking thing stopped hard.
that's a problem with
Um,
that left foot braking. See, if you don't keep in practice for, you know, pressure,
there's no subtlety with it.
oh, it's like an on and off switch.
But yeah, that's my little anecdote of don't suddenly think you're driving a manual when you're driving an automatic.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I really don't know. In general, I'm like, they're not for me. I totally get it. Probably if I did more traffic driving.
Do you know what, man? See, when you drive a good auto, it's actually really nice and relaxing. Like, as a daily driver, you're like, you'll sit there and be like, I understand why people who do like 10 million miles a year need this or want this, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I
but
still
if you,
look at autos when I'm looking. I still always look at autos, but it depends on what I'm looking.
yeah, well, what I was actually going to say at the end there was, but see if you drive a bad one, oh, not good.
Aye.
It's shit. Yeah, like drive a Lexus automatic. If you're going to drive an automatic, drive a Lexus, and not a CVT one, not a hybrid. I mean a proper full fat petrol Lexus. After that, nothing you drive will be the same. The ZF8 is actually fucking pretty peachy, but personally, I think it has to be a Lexus box for it to be a proper creamy automatic. Yeah.
Yeah. On the subject of Car X, do you have anything small detail in the book?
Yeah, but I do, and it's really hard to put into words what it is.
No, that's even better if it's like even a feeling.
Oh yeah, I get the feeling a lot. Like I'll go and view a car to like buy it, and it'll look alright in the photos, and I'm like, fuck it, we'll go and try it out, and I'll just see certain things about it that I'm just like, no, this isn't for me. And it could be something as simple as like, you know, where around the keyhole in the steering column, like there's loads of big scratches where people have just been smashing the key in. That's like that gives me the ick. I'm like, you clearly don't care about your car. It's the second most expensive thing you'll ever buy. Like, show it some fucking respect. Don't just gouge fuck out of the soft materials with your key, you know? The other one's like when people, the Merc has it as well. But obviously I bought the Merc over eBay, so I couldn't really reject it when I got there. So like whoever owned the car previously has been sitting with like a house key, and they've been sitting bored, and they've got like an aluminium panel in the door, and they've been like punting the key into that. So it's got like loads of little pinhole dents in it.
Nice.
The other hand is just like it's a general feeling. Like it could be from the car, it could be from the car owner. Like I get it a lot when I'm parking. And I see something about it. I'm just like, I'm not parking next to you. There's something I don't trust about that.
I get you.
Yeah.
Fair. So it's not really necessarily about the car itself. It's more about, well, it's not about the design of or the creation of the car. It's about the way it's been kept and the way that the owner kept it and the owner themselves.
Yeah, although there is one design thing that gives me the fucking ick. There's actually two now that I think about it. One is mood lighting inside a car.
Oh, yeah, no, I can totally see that. You
Like,
can take it way too far.
yeah, you can take it way too far, and I think like if you do it right as like an aftermarket thing, a modification, it can look really good. Like it can be done really tastefully, and you can hide like the light sources to have like this thing just bathed, and it can be done really subtly and really nice, or it can be done really in your face, but still be done really well. And then you get the ones that are like Mercedes is really bad for this, where like there's no synergy in design. So you've got like a fucking, I don't know, a silver exterior with black leather and then purple fucking mood lighting everywhere. It's like
Mm.
there's no design synergy here at all. Like, and the other one is touchscreens.
Just touchscreens in general.
Touchscreens in general. You know where touchscreens belong in a car?
Where's that?
In like a 90s or early 2000 Jap import where you've had a Japanese radio in it and you put a touchscreen Apple CarPlay Bluetooth streaming head unit in it. That's where they belong because you put your phone in and you just don't fucking touch it after that. You know, you can use Android Auto, you can talk to the fucking thing and tell it who to phone or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you get into a car and like the climate control, the fucking safety systems, everything's on a touchscreen hidden in menus and everything else. It's like that gives me the ick. I don't like that at all.
Yeah,
That's,
no, I can totally. That is so fucking
it's not cool.
not cool at all.
But yeah, no, that gives me the big ick. But that's the two big ones for like design ick. But yeah, design ick.
Design ick, yes. Do you have a design ick? Fair, absolutely fair. I mean, I agree with you that like I find the over insistence on a touch all of your that's so off. I think other stuff that really puts me off is black alloys. I choose black alloys.
No, they do not.
Diamond cut alloys as well. God, like the golf that we were looking at, the diamond cut alloys that are like in certain bits of it, I look shite and I know that they keep well.
Yeah, no, I'm totally on board there. You know, along with this, black cars.
Yeah, no, I agree. Black is not the colour.
They're horrible to own. Have you ever had a black car?
No, I haven't ever had a car. I assume you've had several.
I have, and they are. Oh, how do I describe this? So, like, you know, I have a little bit of OCD about my cars. You know, I like things to be just so. I like everything to be clean.
Mm-hmm.
You can clean and polish a black car till the fucking cows come home and it'll look gorgeous. You'll go out the next day and it'll just be covered in shit. Like, you would think the car being black would mean you wouldn't notice dirt on it, but you'd notice everything, man. It's horrible.
I think that's pretty well agreed on, and the fact is they absolutely do not keep clean.
They don't. It's an absolute bollock.
I mean, it's funny when you say like, oh, they're so hard to keep clean, whereas I like literally park my car under like bird shit city, so it doesn't matter what color my car is. It's never
fair, man.
So I mean, it could be it's really disappointing and shit, but hopefully it won't be forever, you know.
Hopefully not, man.
I can't think of any other ones.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean we've done a lot in car design previously.
Yeah,
and
we have talked about it extensively. I just wondered if there was any just impulse where you're like, I don't like this.
There's a lot, but generally, like it hits me in the moment, and I don't really think about it after because I'm like, I'm gonna avoid that, and I just don't go near it.
Yeah, I'd still think about it anymore.
Yeah, it's like when something happens behind you, even if it's your fault, that problem is past you, and you don't have to deal with it.
I'm not as convinced that that's true.
It is. It absolutely is. That is the way the world works.
Fair. You just keep on driving.
Just keep on driving. If you cause a 20 car pile up, as long as it happened behind you, fair play. Keep going home.
You weren't involved in the accident.
Go home, crack a beer, ignore it. But yeah, no.
So I don't think. Wait, something else. No, I can't remember. That was mostly just my on for a while.
Fair enough. I've got some examples of like politics influencing cars, and I've tried to be quite creative with this and stay away from like the obvious shit like emissions laws and stuff.
Okay, lay it on me.
So in Japan, there's this thing called a shekin or a shakin, and it's basically the Japanese version of an MOT.
Right.
But it's super fucking strict, right?
No
and
way.
It's also the tax off the back of it, like on older cars, is fucking insane. So this kind of created like the JDM export boom because the cars were really, really expensive to keep on the road in Japan. It meant they were sold cheaply because like people just wanted fucking rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, it kind of like Japanese government kind of created the JDM fucking car culture almost.
Interesting. And does that still stand? Is that why there are so many to export from Japan after a particular time?
Yeah, because like it's even really popular to import German cars from Japan now.
Yes, I have seen that. That's really interesting.
Because there's a lot of Volvos as well, actually, that are fucking floating about now that are all coming across, like Volvo V70Rs and stuff. So I've just looked it up, right? It's one of the most rigorous vehicle inspection systems in the world, and virtually every motorized vehicle over 250cc engine displacement has to pass it.
Mm.
And it's twofold. So it verifies your vehicle's mechanically safe for the road and that it meets Japan's strict emissions regulations. So without a valid check-in certificate, you cannot legally drive on the roads.
Mm.
And like it has significant penalties from fines to imprisonment. So it's like big potatoes if you fuck about with it. Like,
Aye, totally.
and it covers everything from brake performance and emissions to headlight alignment and the condition of window wipers.
I mean, MOTs cover all of that stuff as well. Like the UK test is fairly strange what it doesn't care about.
Yeah. Oh, this is interesting. You can do a user shacking, a DIY inspection.
Okay, that
So,
seems ripe for abuse.
well, apparently, so you check your vehicle before heading to a transport bureau. So you do a pre-inspection, test your headlights, brakes, turn signal, check tread depths, which interestingly is 1.6 millimeter minimum, the same as the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Tire pressures, look for visible damage or rust. And then you prepare documents, which is current vehicle inspection certificate, liability insurance, tax payment certificate, make a reservation, pay the fees, and then you go through an inspection, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which checks exhaust emissions, headlight alignment and brightness, brake performance, tire condition and depth, wheel alignment, suspension and undercarriage components, seat belts, mirrors and safety equipment, horn and electrical systems. A light panel will indicate a pass or fail at each one. If you fail a test, you can make minor adjustments on site and retry in the same session for no extra cost. And then that's it. But yeah, like apparently it's one of the most stringent ones on the planet. There was a change made to reduce a seasonal rush. I thought that was to do with, yeah, but it's pretty mad that, so it is. But it's like known to be insanely strict, which really did fuel the export boom, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, that is quite cool.
Where's some of my other? So an American one that caused car prices to fucking explode. So they have the grandfather import rule or the 25-year import rule. It's got a couple of different names. And it prevents Americans from importing cars unless they're 25-year-old.
Right, less than 20. Okay.
So if they're less than 25-year-old, you can't import them. And I remember like watching Supra values because I was in Supras when the early ones started getting the 25-year mark, and like literally you would see the value of cars one day. So that when the very first of them in '94 or '93, I think it was '93, became able to be imported, literally overnight the value of these cars quadrupled.
Hmm.
And that's not like an exaggeration. I can remember when you could buy like a turbo 6-speed manual Supra for like 8 grand. And it was that way. It was 8 grand. And that would buy you legitimately one of these fucking machines. And then one day I woke up and they were all going for like 36,000 quid.
Hi.
And then they kept going, man. Like they kept getting more and more expensive. Like there was some Supras going for over 100k at one point.
All of them have been raised.
It's all crashed now because the boom has died down, the bubble burst.
Mm-hmm.
And we're actually getting to the point where like the demand for them is kind of dying off.
Yeah, totally. Actually, I've seen certain cars start to struggle a little bit with value. It's weird that, honestly, it's like crap that tends to hold its value better, which is great for us.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not. But yeah, like a lot of the tat is really starting to pick up. Or certainly what I would deem as tat.
Yeah, I'm talking like white goods cars.
Yeah, like in the future, the Nissan Qashqai could be
Mm-hmm.
one of these examples. Which, it sounds mental, but it actually could because they're such a white good that they just get scrapped when they're done with. Like there will probably fucking none of those left.
Aye. Yeah, I could see a future where they just don't exist anymore because they're like Mark One Mondeos. They've just like disappeared.
Yeah, now you're wanting like £6,000 for what used to be £100 car.
Aye. But
Yeah,
yeah,
man, there's a lot of
I
that.
wouldn't mourn the Nissan Qashqai. Put it that.
No, I would definitely not more than that. I'd be like, fucking good riddance, you horrible bastard. Take the Duke with you. Where's another one? I've got like a list, and I purposely was trying to avoid like the oh well emissions rules. There is one. The UK taxation rules kind of created hot hatches.
Oh, it was tax based on like the size of the car or size of engine, possibly.
Precisely. So, like, company car tax rules in the 80s made 1.62 litre cars cheaper to own,
Mm.
which, when you look back, like your Golf GTI, your 205 GTI, your Astra GTE, they are all in that engine range.
Yeah,
And it's
could
quite
totally
interesting,
believe that. Yeah.
because this continued right up till 2002. So it did, where your tax was like, I think it was like 95 quid for a full year when I started driving if your car was under 1.5 litres. And then it was like 150 quid for the year if it was over 1.5 litres. And that was it. That was the car tax rule. If it was a lower displacement engine, it was cheaper tax.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
it does. There's also so there's one more I've got here. Well, there's actually two more, and it was so Germany's autobahn policy kind of shaped its like national identity for cars. If that makes sense?
How
So it was
so?
like when you look at all your really highfalutin German cars like M5, RS6 Audi, 911 Turbo. And you see this when you look at like the gumball. When you talk to people that have done it, they're like, yeah, we take German stuff that's new because it can just sit at 160, 170 miles an hour indefinitely. Like it just doesn't stress.
Yeah, like a lot of
Um,
cannonballers use big German saloons because they're more comfortable at speed.
yeah, so like it's almost created like a culture where it's like I say a culture, a design language where all your fast Japanese stuff kind of follows the same sort of criteria, which is that it has to be big and comfy and stable at like 160 plus, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which is it's kind of nuts that that exists in Germany, you know? It's mad that like the fact that the autobahn exists has kind of spawned all the super saloons and super estates because that's where they're at home. They're at home just belting down an autobahn, you know?
Aye, totally. Eating miles. Stability
And
at speed is really important because, you know, if you're making a bog standard, like kind of products, you really need it to be the most stable planted car at 120, where it's 130, where its maximum speed is.
not really, no. Like you need it to be really stable at like between 70 and 90, I would say, where most people would drive it.
Yeah, I agree. But then again, I don't really know enough about it. I don't know if they do. They do. I know they test up to certain levels, but like how robustly? What's their margin for acceptability?
Um, well, you know, if you look at, funnily enough, if you look at the Ford Escort, the Mark 6,
Mm-hmm.
the spoiler on those actually did make a difference to stability and top speed. And there's quite a
Oh, they had
few,
the little spoiler, yeah,
yeah, like the
little wing.
TT as well, the Mark 1,
The TT
when
very famously did that wing.
and then it had that little tiny lip spoiler put on, and that was enough just to do it. And that was at like normal road speeds. I don't think that was like Mach 10. It was really
Yeah,
the
yeah,
problem.
no, the Audi was, it was about around the 70 mile an hour mark you could get it to happen,
Yeah,
which is not ideal, absolutely, because it's about like 70-ish is kind of when aerodynamics starts to be like worth kind of considering.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's not an accident. Like if you drive something when active rear spoiler, you know the ones that go up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Like they always activate at 70 and deactivate at 50, and that's not an accident, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I have one more example of politics. Well, actually, this isn't really even an example of politics doing it. This is an example of the fear of politics intervening.
What actually preemptively causing things.
Yeah. So it's like this is basically what happened. This is the reason. It's the reason Japan has for a long time had 280 brake horsepower was the limit. It's self-imposed limit. and it's the reason why motorbikes always go to 100. Hold on. It's the reason why motorbikes always go to 189 kilometers an hour. And basically, what it was is there was a bike called the Honda Blackbird.
When would this be?
This was the 90s.
Okay, I'm on board.
And this bike was pretty fucking fast. Honda built it, and it was an 1100cc engine, and it did like 189 miles an hour, right?
Okay, that's
And
a lot.
it was a lot, like especially at the time. This was one of the very first bike that came out and was like, this thing is fucking insane, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It was
Like, this is a
100.
proper weapon.
Yeah, it was 164 brake horsepower in a bike that weighed 223 kilos.
123.
Yeah, it was named after the SR-71 Blackbird, which is the fastest spy plane that's ever flown. Sorry, its Vmax was 178.5 miles per hour. And then we enter in one of the most famous motorbikes ever, and it is called the Suzuki Hayabusa.
Was the motorbike called the Hayabusa?
Yep. So, an interesting fact about this: in Japan, there exists a bird of prey called the Hayabusa, and it preys exclusively on blackbirds. And what was Honda's bike called?
I like this.
So, the Mark One, it immediately won acclaim as the world's fastest production motorbike, with a top speed somewhere in the range of 303 to 312 kilometers per hour, which is 188 to 194 mile per hour. And certain bikes in the first generation of them would clock 200, a genuine 200. Like if you take the mirrors off of them, put a double bubble screen on it that sits a bit higher, and you get properly tucked in to reduce all the drag, it will do 200 miles per hour. Like, this is a verified thing.
Can you imagine how scary 200 mile an hour on a bike
I mean,
in any capacity?
I've done 180 on a bike, and honestly, it doesn't feel like you're going that fast.
I doubt that. I seriously doubt that. Although, to be fair, it might be one of those things where you're so focused on just like, going forward.
You're so focused going forward, right? And when you're fully tucked in, you don't get any wind at all. Like, it sounds stupid to say, but unless you experience it, it's really quite mental. Like, it's an assault on your senses, as going fast in anything is. But you're talking about sitting on a machine that weighs 200 kilos there or thereabouts with upwards of 150 brake horsepower. It doesn't really take a lot of effort to get to those sort of speeds. And when you're fully tucked in on a fully faired bike, you really don't get any wind at all. And they tend to be actually pretty tame handling wise. Like, they're pretty stable. There's not any instability at that. Like, your wheels are turning so fucking fast that they're self-righting at that point. You know, they don't just fall over. It's not as mind-blowing as you think. When you do that speed, you'll do it once or twice, and you'll be like, "That was fucking boring. I want to go around a corner at half the speed now." Like, that's genuinely like how it works. Like, you'll do it. Like, I've had my bike absolutely flat out, and it's genuinely like 180 mile an hour on the clock, which is realistically probably between 166 and 175 miles per hour in reality. And I've done it a handful of times. I'm just like, well, I just want to go around a corner at like 100 now. Like, that's more fun.
Yeah, we have talked about this before. It's like straight lines exciting, but not exciting.
Precisely. It's like, that was that, but I want to go and do something else now. So the Hayabusa, the Blackbird came out with an 1100cc engine with 160 something brake horsepower. I can't remember exactly what I said. So the first generation Hayabusa came out with a 1300cc engine with 173 brake horsepower.
It's a lot for not a lot.
It is a lot. And the bike weighed, I'm trying to get to the dimensions here. The weight of the bike was 215 kilos to 242 kilos, depending on the dry or wet weight. So essentially, it weighed the same with another 30 brake horsepower.
Bikes are something, and they absolutely are. There's a totally different sphere.
They are. It's a different sphere of performance. Like, it's insane. But this whole fight, right? This whole battle between like Suzuki and Honda primarily, but Kawasaki like came in there with a ZX12R and was like, "Get fucked! We want the fastest motorbike." And there were growing fears with the manufacturers of like carnage and mayhem, and it's all because the motorcycles getting so outrageously fast every year, and like there was talk of regulating like hypersport motorbikes or Europe banning them being imported, and the response was a gentleman's agreement between Japanese and European manufacturers to limit the speed of the motorbikes to a reasonable number. And do you want to have a guess at what that reasonable number was?
For top speed or for power?
For top speed.
Top speed. What's a reasonable number for a motorbike?
Yeah.
180?
You're fucking surprisingly close. So all the manufacturers got together and went to all the governments and were like, right, we're going to be responsible. We're going to start limiting our speed down to 300 kilometers an hour, which is 186 miles per hour.
Oh wow, it was close. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Um,
you wouldn't want to overly like your speed because then you'll lose out to European man.
yeah, precisely. Well, no, but the European manufacturers follow this as well.
Wait, do they?
Yeah. So it was Japanese and European manufacturers all agreed to electronically limit the speed of their motorbikes.
Oh, interesting.
And it was an informal agreement as well. So this was like they did it so that legislators and stuff wouldn't get involved. And they were like, we need to leave this the fuck alone. We need to like stop the arms race, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so they entered into an informal gentleman's agreement in 2001, and that's when it came online. And it was the same way power output in Japan. It was a gentleman's agreement on power outputs. So it was. And that's why all the manufacturers limited to 280.
Yep. Even though some of them don't always come in at 200.
Yeah. So it was basically, it was a form of self-regulation. And towards the end of the 2000s, it was just fucked off entirely. So it emerged informally among Japan's auto manufacturers at the end of '88,
Mm-hmm.
and it was rooted in safety and concerns, insurance costs, and a desire to avoid government imposed restriction. And it was in the '80s Japan had like this economy bubble. So there was like a surge in like high performance, high tech cars, and the speeds just increased and increased and increased.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you had everything coming out like 280 brake horsepower, and that was it. But there was some pretty amazing ways around it. So there was. So 276 horsepower was the
But
way.
if you want it, you could get this accessories packet, make that.
Yes, this was Mitsubishi's way around it. So like when you bought an MR, it was 280 brake. But if you bought an FQ 300, 330, 360, 400, they came with an exhaust and a new ECU and loads of bolt-on parts to the dealership.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a car and then you got a pallet full of parts, and you would fit all these parts, then throw all the standard stuff away, and it would be, here's your new warranted Mitsubishi Evo with 360 brake horsepower instead of 280. Nissan had a really cool idea where they had the boost line for the turbos.
Right. Also, they just restricted it.
No, they put a restrictor in it, but they painted the restrictor yellow. And then in the glove box of the car, they gave you a yellow alternative part that you could just plug into the line instead of this other yellow bit. And because it was yellow, the customer was allowed to touch it without fucking up his warranty.
Yep.
You know, the same way how your like oil cap and stuff's yellow.
Yeah,
same
yeah.
idea.
All the coloured stuff you can touch. All the black stuff don't touch.
Precisely. So that went from like 280 to 320, 340 brake. And also there was a big like under-reporting problem as well. They're like, oh no, that's not that fast. It's only 280 brake. And when you put it on a dyno, it's like 340. You're like, it's fucking bullshit, motherfucker. But yeah, and I thought that was a really interesting example, those two, motorbikes and the gentleman's agreement in Japan, because it's like a fear of having somebody come in and burn your fucking playhouse down. You're like, we need to calm ourselves down before they want us to calm down, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I always find it quite interesting when it's together to self-regulate because they know they're getting regulated, feel like they can get ahead. You know the gentleman's agreement in Germany between like
The
the
155.
155, was that
Yes.
to preempt lawmaking?
I can't remember now. I'm going to Google that. While I'm looking this up, you know how I was saying like 176 brake horsepower was mental in a bike in like at like the turn of the century 2000s?
Oh man, is that just like is that child's play now?
Oh, it's child's play. So
Mm.
now you can actually walk into Kawasaki. Admittedly, you need about £50,000 to do this, but you can walk into Kawasaki with 50k and say, I want a H2R that has 300 brake horsepower.
How heavy is that bike?
It won't be heavy. H2R will weigh like maybe 160 kilos.
Okay.
I would be exceptionally surprised if it weighs any more than that.
Genuinely, I think bikes are a different realm. Like honestly, a different realm.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google H2R weight. Oh, 216 kilos.
Wow, that's
But I
not that
mean,
heavy.
yeah, but I mean, it's got an extra 100 brake. It's got an extra 100 brake horsepower on top of its fucking weight. So it's like 1,200 brake horsepower per kilo
Mm-hmm.
per ton. Sorry. The other one as well. If you go for like an S1000 RR, this is a BMW bike, and it does not follow the 155 mile per hour rule. So these weigh 204 kilograms and have 199 horsepower, as close to 1,000 brake per ton as you can fucking get without being 1,000 brake per ton.
Yep.
And I'm about to send you a video of an S1000RR just before we get into the control acceleration, because I would like to hear your response to this absolute fucking Lucy on the podcast. Because shut up, you. There we go. Right, copy, and
Looking forward to this.
this is fucking insane, by the way. So the first one I'm sending you is a video of the dashboard, and I'm going to send you another one, which is a video of a bike actually launching from like outside the bike.
Hold on, hold on, just.
What's up?
It's the second sort of big pull sick that about 130 miles per hour.
Well, where it just like you're like that can't possibly get much faster, and it's like, oh no, it does.
No, it's where it bucks. It's where the bike actually bucks a little bit.
Ah, yes.
Around 130 in second. That's nuts. Bikes are crazy.
Well, the one that I've just sent you is the outside view of it, and I'd be interested to. You'll see the big black mark the tires leave on the ground with the launch control as well. It's fucking wild.
Do you know what, right? It feels like that's not even a fast launch for that bike. So much wheel spin.
No, it's not. I've ridden one of those, and I have ridden it in anger as well, and they're fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, it looks absolutely phenomenal.
We went, actually, me and a guy I used to work with, we fucked off from work early one day and went just like joyriding motorbikes from the dealership in Carlisle. And I took a speed triple out, and he took an S1000RR out, and he went past me like I was going backwards. And I was not hanging about. And we got to Longtown on the way to Gretna from Carlisle, and he pulled over, and he was like waving me down as I was coming into the 30 limit, and I was like, oh fuck, has he smashed that thing or something, or fucking laid it down? And he's like, and he runs up to me and he grabs my helmet and like flips the fucking visor up. He's like, you have to have a go on this. I was like, okay, right, fucking swap over. We'll go back to Carlisle and come back out, and we'll swap back over again. And I came out of the 30 limit in first and just cracked the throttle open, man. And it went up onto the back wheel, and I just fed it gears. And it was like on the back wheel from the top of, from like maybe mid first gear. It wasn't high in the rev band, to like the top of fourth when it came down. And like I just kept feeding it throttle and feeding it gears, and I was absolutely flat out. And it felt like this thing was. It felt like riding a ballistic missile.
You don't actually get. It's like it's not the 0 to 100 Ks It's the
No.
fact that it's 0 to top speed in seconds.
Oh yeah. Like even my little 750, like it'll do 0 to 60 in like under 3 seconds, 0 to 100 in under 6. Under 5 actually, I believe. I mean, first gear takes you to 77 miles per hour, so that's already getting you a speeding ticket. The other 5 gears are just there to determine how long you're fucking locked up for.
There's something hilarious when we never get speed first on a
It's
motorway.
fucking wild, like, isn't it?
Yeah. Something
But
crazy
yeah,
about that. I could honestly totally see why, like, like and bike cars just.
they do, man. It's a very different type of speed. Like it's a very different type of speed.
I was looking at well, all of these like personalized flying is probably a generic way, a business way to say it, but basically like hover bike, gyrocopter bike, jet bikes, all of that nonsense. I was watching doing one of my favorite things, which is watching the press and like promotional footage for all of these like insane prototypes, or even just like because we were playing a game where we were like, is this AI generated or is this just like an actual real thing that exists?
Yeah.
There's some really cool there's some really cool ones out there, some really ones out there, but honestly, does you know how you were desperate like for a microlight at one point?
Yes.
What about a little cockpit? Like a really cool, sleek cockpit, and then just on each corner there is propellers for a
That
quadrocopter.
that sounds incredible.
That would be pretty nice. Like, I could get behind my own little sick.
That would be fucking class, man.
There was one which was a quadrocopter that was also a boat, but it looked ridiculous.
What, a partial helicopter slash boat?
Yeah,
Did you just
it
say?
was like a boat hull, and it had 4 boat float, but also it was like kind of a helicopter, kind of a plane. So it had the
Right.
floats that were aerofoil shaped, and they were used to like kind of control in the air. And then yeah, it could fly supposedly. Hold on, I've not no idea what it was called. I'll have a look to see if I can find it.
Okay.
No, unfortunately, I can't find it. It may genuinely only exist on a YouTube video. That's it was. Who knows if it was real or not? Most of the video footage I remember looked fake, but there was one or two where it was over an airstrip where it was actually kind of looked like it's there.
Really?
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, there's so many. I mean, quadrocopter, quite.
You know, I like any form of aviation,
Yeah, flying is. I mean, the jetpacks are, quite intense.
Yeah, but they look fucking incredible, man. Like I would give my left nut for a go at that. Like that's cool as fuck. Like yes. Sorry, you've got me on a little motorbike bent here.
Oh
By the way.
no.
There's a video of a French guy. I've just sent you, and I want a wee bit of feedback on it because this is pretty fucking gnarly. A guy called
Suzuki R.
Yeah. So this is the 1000cc version of my bike, and he's drifting the motorbike. It's quite something. He's an absolute savage as well.
Oh, he's really going for it down this road. Oh, I do quite like a little bit of motorbike stunt as well.
Yeah, this guy can handle it. Like
Yeah, he can really handle the bike. That's probably a heavy bike to be doing that stuff with as well.
200 kilos, man.
Yeah, man, heavy bike. God, looking at the speedo up in the back wheel when he's going down these corners drifting at 65.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's class.
Yeah, it's
No more motorbikes.
done with motorbike.
Not done with them, but I'm just not going to spam the car podcast with motorbikes anymore tonight.
I send you a flying quadro bike.
Oh, I want to see this.
See,
Oh,
now think of being
my
able to show
money.
up. Think of being able to show up to work in that.
This is class. This is me.
See,
right
this is
here.
using electricity properly.
No, I want an engine.
Nah, I'm totally cool with these things being lecky.
Okay.
They
Yeah,
already
okay,
are
I'll give you
incredibly
this.
loud.
Yeah, but imagine it could be loud at like 15,000 RPM. But okay, I will. I can't go in that, man. I can carry a pilot weighing up to 95 kilos. I'm too big for it.
Oh shit! I'm sorry, man. Oh, fuck,
That's incredible. I want the bathtub that flies
more. It's quite strong.
more than I want the quadrocopter. I'm not going to lie.
The bathtub that flies is made by German.
It'll work really well, but then I'll buy one at the bottom of its value curve and it'll just be an absolute dog. That's what happens with anything German that I buy.
That's a great question. Would you buy a quadrocopter?
Thomas, the story of me wanting to buy a used questionable microlight is well known.
That's actually so true. What am I thinking? Of course you would buy a
Yeah.
amazing.
Do you know,
Absolutely
right?
amazing.
This actually brings up a little topic that I have had. I don't think I've actually spoke about this with you, but I've spoken about it with guys that I worked with previously when I was in the trader, and I wanted to buy like a ride-on lawnmower,
Okay.
and I wanted to put a motorbike engine in it and just totally do away with all the grass cutting shit, right? And just have like a ride-on lawnmower that does like 150 mile an hour.
Yep. I'm
And
sure people need fast ride-ons, like a world record
oh
for
yeah, no.
ride-on.
So they
The
have,
idea of
right? But
flying.
what I wanted to do is I wanted to put it through an SVA test and get a number plate for it as a kit car, so that I could legitimately like insure this as a kit car and drive to my work in it. Like this was a legitimate thing that I wanted to do for quite a while, actually.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm watching the air bike video you just sent me through, and this is absolutely a bit of me, man.
Yeah, man.
This is cool
I
as
thought you'd
fuck.
appreciate that. See, it's got uses actual combustible objects to fly. But yeah, do you not think that's real? That's the
That's
question.
that's beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. Do you know what? That is absolutely real. And do you know what makes me think it's real? Is that it's a Polish startup that's doing it.
I mean, you can build a jet really, really like, quite small stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. When I get rich, Thomas, I'm not gonna tell anyone, but there will be clues.
There'll be notable signs, yeah.
Yeah. Most notably the headline: Dumfries man arrested for flying bathtub to Tesco's or some pish like that. It's got to be fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, some of this stuff is crazy. And like I'm kind of all here for the personalized flying transport. I'm kind of all here for it.
Yeah.
This
Do you know
this
though,
bike is only $880,000.
890. I could buy a fucking fighter jet for less than that, man.
You could, but could you leave the fighter jet in your garage?
Depends how big your garage is.
It does in your garage right now. No. Therefore, this is better value.
But if my fighter jet only cost me £500,000, I could then build a massive garage for 250k that I've got left over and still have money for maintenance and fuel.
Okay, sure.
Sorry.
Whatever. We're back. Have you seen the jet wingsuits you can get?
Yes.
Crazy. I really love the, which is to anytime we come up with right, how
How
fast can I go, and how little of the actual mechanics can be there. How can it just only be, you know?
Yeah.
You see those crazy mountain rescue things where it's like, you know, the jetpack with the the jets that you have on your arm.
Yes.
And they actually, it's not just like that's like some bullshit stuff you see on the internet being like, oh, there's a prototype. But people are actually doing that as a job.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Kind of wild, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, man. There's nothing that makes me want to, like, I just want to fly, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to be a fighter jet pilot and my knees are fucked. So they told me to get fucked. And then I was like, I'll go commercial and I'll fly people jets, you know, not fighter jets. And they told me I was too poor. And then to get the fuck, I've just sent you two amazing links, by the way. The second link, I think, is just fantastic.
Okay. 80s fighter jet. Is that a made for two from the box, or is that like a training plane?
It's a trainer plane, but the main thing is it's a jet. Like, it's not a propeller jet. It's not a propeller. Sorry. It's the main thing is it's a jet. Like, it'll do mega miles per hour.
Oh, I'm way more on the McDonnell Douglas F4H. Yeah, 100%. Sign me up for that, man.
It's so cool.
I mean, it's got a bit of style to it. I don't really like the generic jet.
Yes, but that one. Oh,
Agreed.
And for the low price of $950,000.
See, it really puts in perspective how cheap that jet bike is.
Does it?
It does. Extra 100,000 off.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. I think that might be me out of nonsense chit chat for this day, though.
Yeah, man, I am chatted out. I have nothing left.
Fair. So, I mean, at least we're ending on some really strong consumer advice.
Yeah, buy a quadricopter, not a jet.
Well, unless you have the space for a jet, in which case buy a jet.
Yeah, you know? It doesn't really matter what you're going to buy. just so long as you buy the sketchiest but fastest example of whatever you're looking at.
First of all, you need to be on Facebook Marketplace to find the good deals.
Well, that's where I found the microlight.
Oh my god. Colin, I'm really glad you. I just want to say I'm really glad you.
Why? There's nothing could possibly have went wrong with that plan.
Most intensely bad idea ever written all over. I mean,
What?
I would weird enough buying a boat off it. And the thing with boats is right, they float. But the thing with bike rides, people don't fly themselves. So
No, we're not a very floaty species, are we? Well, we float on
no.
water, but not in air.
Yeah. I would be a
Um,
lot more concerned. Could you imagine how fucking tense that first flight would? You'd be like, get a foot off the ground, you'd be like, right, well, that's it. That's fine for today then. Build up a bit more confidence. Come back at it.
oh no, man! The only thing on my mind was let's conquer the skies. That was it. I was
God,
like, let's go, let's do this. Less than the price of a second-hand car, and I could have a microlight right now.
that is true. I mean, you can buy one on eBay.
You can. You can. I used to work with a guy. Well, I used to work with his missus, and the guy bought a helicopter on eBay to prove a bet to his missus that he actually could. It made the news as well. If you put Dumfries man buys helicopter on eBay, and it'll come up.
Man, is Dumfries man like the Scotland's equivalent of Florida man?
No, like there's no. Let's Google it and see.
Man accidentally buys helicopter on eBay. Oh no.
Well, your one's funnier than mine. The police name man who died after being hit by a car in Dumfries. That's not very funny. Yeah, no, it's not like when you put Florida man in. There's an awful lot of stuff about crashes, which, given where we are on the A75, is not massively. But yeah, Dumfries man buys helicopter. The guy's a local legend for being a bit of a fucking numpty. But yeah, I felt really bad for his missus because everybody was coming into work, but like, oh, did you drive today? Did you not fly in? Did you not bring the helicopter?
Love it. I
And
love how we set up a GoFundMe page as well.
the poor lassie was in fucking tears over it, man. It was really bad, but it
Yeah.
was so funny. But yeah, like just yeah.
You can get anything on
Class.
that eBay.
You can buy literally anything on eBay, anything.
For
But yeah,
people, not that I've tried.
no, I don't believe you can buy people. I believe slavery is outlawed on eBay. Yeah, man, that's me officially out of chat now. I have nothing else unless you throw some mental left field topic back at me.
No, I think I've been well alone as well. Yeah, okay then. Well, so I enjoyed what today about our discussion. Quite loose terms. Please give us a like, subscribe, a share, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear. I hope everyone has a very nice time. Goodbye.
Likewise, enjoy, folks. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.